Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. Today we are going to start with our new lesson. Okay, the first lesson what we have completed is matter around us. Okay, in that we have seen that all these matter they are made of a basic unit, structural unit called atom. Atom is making the structure of all those matters. Okay, and along with this matters on our earth, okay, we have an important part of our earth, okay, that is nothing but the biotic system. Okay, biotic system, it includes all living organisms, plants, animals, okay, microorganism, everything, all the life forms, diverse forms present on our earth, it comes under that biotic system. Okay, and in this lesson, okay, actually a fifth chapter, okay, we are going to start. Okay, it is talking about that basic unit, okay, how that atom is making all those matter. The same way, this lesson is talking about a basic unit which is making the life of all those biological system. Okay, that is our lesson actually. Okay, so the fifth chapter, what we're going to start today is a fundamental unit of life. Okay, fundamental unit of life. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of fundamental? Fundamental is nothing but something which is basic, without which a process is impossible, or the structure of something is impossible. In the same way, the fundamental unit of all our life is this structure, which is nothing but we are calling it as our cell. This is called our cell, and this lesson we are going to learn about this cell. We are going to learn about the cell discovery, cell theory, and the detailed structure of this cell. What are all the different parts of the cell, like cell membrane, cell wall, cytoplasm, nucleus, and other cell organelles. So very interesting, and you're going to learn about all these things in this lesson. And in this video, we are going to cover cell discovery and cell theory. Cell discovery and cell theory, that is contribution of various scientists in the discovery of this cell. And before going into that, first we will define our cell. What is a cell? The cell is a basic structural and functional unit of all the living organism. It is a biological unit, of course, without which we cannot imagine a life of organisms, living things on our earth. Why it is called structural and functional unit? When you see structure, human beings, we have this particular structure. It is only because of this cell. We all started our life as a single cell in our mother's womb, that is zygote. From that single cell, we got this complete structure. The baby, the zygote is developing into embryo is developing into fetus, and all those growth, it is only because of the growth in this cell. Growth in the sense, growth in the size as well as in the number of these cells. These cells, they multiply by the process of cell division, and they are giving a proper structure to that living organism. So because of that only, we are calling it as a structural unit. And why it is called functional unit? When you see, without a cell, we cannot imagine. We are getting energy. We are eating our food. From that food we are getting energy. How we are getting energy? That energy production is taking place in each and every cells of your body. So cell is involved in all our metabolic functions. So as it is doing all those important function, we are calling it as a basic functional unit. So we can define our cell as the cell is a basic structural, functional, and biological unit of all living organisms. It is the smallest unit of life. And these cells, we can call them as the building blocks of life. Building blocks, which is building a structure, which is giving the structure, a complete structure to a living organism. So this is our cell. Now we'll see the contribution of various scientists in the cell discovery. So this is a list of some scientists, who has given their contribution in the field of the cell. That is Hans and Harrius Janssen, that is father and son. Then Robert Hooke, Matthias Leiden, Theodor Schwann, Robert Brown, Anton von Leeuwenhoek, and Purkinje. Along with these scientists, we can include one more person, an important person who contributed in cell theory. Okay, actually it is, excuse me, who contributed for this cell theory. He is, okay, his name is called Rudolf Virchow. Okay, his name is called Rudolf Virchow. Okay, so Anton von Leeuwenhoek, along with this Schleiden and Schwann, there is a scientist named Rudolf Virchow. Okay, Rudolf Virchow, who expanded the cell theory which was given by Schleiden and Schwann. Okay, who expanded the cell theory which was given by Schleiden and Schwann. Okay, so along with this Matthias Schleiden and Theodor Schwann, we can have another, this third scientist, that is Rudolf Virchow. Okay, so one by one we'll see. The first work was Hans and Sir Harrius Janssen, father and son. They discovered the first compound microscope. Okay, they discovered the first compound microscope, which is acting as a motivation, which was acting as a motivation for two scientists, that is Anton von Leeuwenhoek and Robert Hooke. Following this father and son, okay, these two scientists, they started discovering their own microscopes. Okay, so this discovery of microscope is important role in the field of this cell. Okay, we'll see what is a work. Okay, what is the contribution of these two scientists, that is Anton von Leeuwenhoek and Robert Hooke. First, we'll start with Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke, year of 1665, he made, okay, motivated by those two scientists, he made his own microscope and he started observing so many things under that microscope. So for the first time, he was collecting some cork. Okay, tree trunks will be having a bark. Okay, the cells of those bark we will call it as cork. Okay, collected cork, a thin slice of cork from the tree bark, and he was observing it under microscope, his own microscope. Okay, he observed this kind of field under his microscope. So exactly what is the structure he observed under this microscope? When you see like a honeycomb, he observed some compartment like this. He observed some compartment like this with some structure like this, and it was looking like a little rooms. So he named these structures as cells, because the meaning cell is a Latin word, okay, which means a little rooms. Okay, cell means little rooms. Okay, when he was observing this cork under microscope, he observed these little rooms, so he named this structure as cell. This is how, okay, Robert Hooke discovered this cell. Okay, followed by Robert Hooke, when you see the work of Anton von Leeuwenhoek, this is a microscope which was developed by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Okay, you have to carry, see this person is carrying near his eyes. Okay, it will be very smaller in size. So the specimen has to be mounted here, and this is the slide. Through that slide we can observe that specimen. Okay, and after making this microscope, he started observing various things. Some things some examples for the cells what he observed. When you see white blood cells from his own blood, red blood cells, yeast cells, sperm cells. He observed rainwater, pond water for the presence of microorganisms like this. Okay, and he took tooth scraping from his own teeth and he was observing it for the presence of microbes. Okay, this paves way for the discovery of various kinds of cells. Okay, this is a work of Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Followed by him, the next scientist, Robert Brown. This man, he found some peculiar structure inside the cell. Okay, like this. Okay, like this. And he named that structure as nucleus. Nucleus, very important structure of all our cells. Okay, it is actually a boss of our cell, which is taking care of all the metabolic actions going on in our cell, and it was found by Robert Brown. Followed by Robert Brown, okay, Johannes Purkinje. What is his work when you see? He found out something called protoplasm. Protoplasm is nothing but a liquid, okay, portion of the cell which is present inside the cell membrane. Okay, so whatever things are present inside the cell membrane, it includes this protoplasm, includes cytoplasm, nucleus, all those things. Okay, within the cell membrane, they have cytoplasm and nucleus. Even nucleoplasm and cytoplasm, okay, which is separated by a nuclear membrane. We are going to see all those things. So this content which is there inside a cell membrane was given with a name called protoplasm by Purkinje. Okay, so this is about all the scientist contribution. The important thing what we are going to see next is our cell theory, which was initiated by two important scientists, that is Matthias Leiden and Theodor Schwann. Okay, these two people only, they started working on this cell theory. Okay, so already I told you, along with these two scientists, one more scientist joined. Okay, that is our Rudolf Virchow. What was the discovery made by these three scientists? When you see, Matthias Leiden said all plants are made up of cells, and Theodor Schwann said all animal cells are made of cells. Okay, and what is Rudolf Virchow's discovery? When you see, he said cells come from cells. In the sense, okay, that is a cell formed from a pre-existing cell. Already there will be some cell. From those pre-existing cell, the new cell is formed. Okay, so together, keeping all these things in mind, they have given a classic cell theory, the first form cell theory. Okay, so this is our cell theory, which states that all living things are made up of cells. Okay, because they said plant and animals are made up of cells, so all living things are made of cells. Cells are the basic unit of life. Without cells, we cannot imagine life on this earth. And cells come from pre-existing cells. Of course, this is from, okay, Rudolf Virchow expanded the theory given by Leiden and Schwann. Okay, this is our classic cell theory. After this one, so many scientists, they started working on the cell, and they discovered so many things. Keeping all these things in mind, okay, they have framed a modern cell theory. This is classic cell theory. They have framed a modern cell theory. So this modern cell theory contains 4 statements. Okay, so the cell contains hereditary information in the form of DNA. Okay, cell contains, this is very important for inheritance, that is transmission of character from one cell to other cell, in the same way one generation to the other. Okay, so this is, the cell contains hereditary information in the form of DNA, which is passed on from cell to cell during cell division. All cells are basically the same in chemical composition and metabolic activities, and all basic chemical and physiological functions are carried out inside the cell. Okay, cell is basically same, whatever cell, when you take, okay, we have, generally we can divide the cells into 2 types, plant cell and animal cell. When you take plant cell, the composition of plant cell, whatever it is, okay, whichever plant it is, the composition of plant cell is same. Their cell wall is made of cellulose. It is not that one plant is made up of one carbohydrate. No. Okay, the chemical composition of a particular cell is similar. Okay, then all basic chemical and physiological functions of that cell will be taking place inside the cell. Okay, the functions of cell will be taking place inside the cell. For that, it is having the division of labors. Okay, because it is having so many organelles, a specific organelle for doing a specific function. Then cell activity depends on the activities of subcellular structures within the cell. Subcellular structures in the sense cell organelles. For example, for energy production, I told you each and every cell involved in energy production, and for that energy production, our cell is having organelle called mitochondria. Mitochondria is doing that function. Like that, each and every organelle of the cell, ribosomes producing proteins, Golgi apparatus doing the function of transport inside the cell. Okay, endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, it is doing detoxification, membrane biogenesis, like that. Each and every organelles of that cell is doing its own function. Okay, so this is talking about our modern cell theory, and as I told you already, okay, this is about the basic unit of life, that is cell. Okay, that is cell discovery. We have seen about cell discovery and cell theory. In our next video, we meet with the structure of cell. Thank you, children.